On social media, you found real success.
Yeah.
Was that due to your daily vlog predominantly? Was that the real catalyst moment in terms of growth?
Yeah, 100%. Like my brother Van and I had a television show on HBO that we sold to HBO in 2008. And that television show was exactly my daily vlog, full stop.
Only 8 episodes or something, wasn't it?
8 episodes,
yeah.
22 minutes, 22 to 24 minute episodes. But if you watch that daily show, it looks like an early version of my vlog. It's identical. It's the same exact shit. But that was before YouTube was really a thing. YouTube was invented in 2000 or launched in 2006. And it was really just a place for watching like basketball highlight reels and like Charlie Bit My Finger. So, we put that show on HBO, very highly reviewed, but nobody watched it. It was on at midnight on Friday nights. Like it wasn't a breakout success. And then Van moved to California. So I was kind of on my own. And I was like, I just want to do that. So I tried to sell it to MTV and they didn't get it. They're like, we know this is great. Like I showed it to someone there and they brought me in and I met with the heads of MTV, like met with some really powerful people. And they're like, this is unlike anything we've ever seen. This is fantastic, but we're not sure this works on TV. I was like, okay, cool. And then I put it on YouTube.
And how did that go?
Well, you talked about the numbers before. Like, so before my daily vlog, I was considered like a successful YouTuber, like a celebrated YouTuber. I think it was 280,000 subscribers. And it had taken me almost a decade to get there. I started my YouTube channel in 2007 maybe. And by 2014, 2015, I had 280,000 subscribers. I had a couple movies that went truly viral that had like 5-10 million views. All of my movies did more than like 50, 60,000 views, which is amazing. And people liked my videos. Like the New York Times saw my YouTube videos and like make videos for us. I was doing that back then. So by all definition, very successful on YouTube. But then I started my daily vlog. And it took whatever that was, 8 years to go from 0 to a couple 100,000 subscribers. And my daily vlog went from a couple 100,000 subscribers to 10 million subscribers in like 18 months. It was a kind of like explosion that I had never felt in any other capacity in my career, my life.
What's the lesson that you take away from that about consistency or compounding or,
Yeah, that's that thing, patience. I wasn't really doing anything different. I mean, certainly I was working much harder to create a video every day. It was hard work. But really, it was just like I had this square peg and I tried to knock it through thousands of round holes for 15 years. And like sometimes I was able to jam it through and sometimes it would kind of fall through, but I wasn't able to duplicate it. And then all of a sudden, like the moon's aligned, like the fucking planets aligned, Pluto was lined up, the sun shined through, like Raiders of the Lost Ark, the light came through, the city illuminated. And like 2015, YouTube was just becoming something more. It's the first generation that grew up on YouTube. Like it'd been around for, 9 years and people had a relationship with this platform. And no one was doing anything of any significant production quality. And I had 15 years of experience in making short videos. And I brought all of that to YouTube. And then just the episodic aspect of it. So it was like, make one video of me running around New York City, hanging around with my wife, having lunch, doing something else. And then the video's over. And it's like, oh, who's this funny looking guy in New York? Whatever. Do that 7 days in a row. And you're like, oh, this is kind of fun. I get to hang out with this guy. Do it 300 days in a row. And it's like, I've become part of your life. And that just snowballs. Like it snowballs in every way. It snowballs algorithmically. And that's what that quantitative explosion was. It snowballs financially because you get paid whatever, call it a 1/10 of a cent per view. And that doesn't mean much if you're getting 10 views. But if you're getting 100 million views, the money starts to become substantive. Brands, the kinds of companies you always wanted to work with, maybe 1 out of every 100 creative directors at an agency has seen your videos, but all of a sudden you go from getting 100,000 a month to 100 million a month. And now every creative director has seen your videos. They're like, we want to work with that guy. And it just was, it happened so quick and was so explosive and so exciting and so fun.
Sounds like that was your Anvil moment in some respects, like you'd put in 15 years of work and then your craft and patience had met opportunity in a way. And people might look at those moments and go, oh, that was, that's luck because, but what is the rebuttal to that? What's the like?
They're right. It was luck.
Yeah,
but like luck is, what is it? Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. I'd just been preparing myself for that moment for 15 years, and then the opportunity opened up and I was right there. And the truth is, like, most of us see opportunity just flies by us all day, every day. We're not ready for it. I was seeking it for that long. And, there's some other circumstances too. My friend Max pointed this out to me when he and I were having a meeting last week, which was like, when I launched that YouTube channel, the daily vlog rather, when I launched that in 2015, I had a show on HBO that they bought for $2 million. I had movies that I produced, 2 of them in the Cannes Film Festival. I won the Cassavetes Award at the Independent Spirit Awards, which was like the Academy Awards for indie films. Like I worked for the New York Times. I made movies for Nike. I had worked for myself at that point in time for 12 years in my own studio. I had by every definition achieved success. But at the exact time I launched that YouTube channel, I was $200,000 in debt, meaning I was more broke then than when I was on welfare getting checks for my kid, because I was so deep in debt. Because, the year preceding that, I was invited to MIT as a fellow. And as a high school dropout, it was like no greater honor than to get to go to one of the most prestigious academic institutions on the planet and be invited there. And I remember going there being like, whatever I do on the other side of this is going to be different from what I'm doing now. And what I was doing then was making TV commercials and doing fun stuff like that. I had a good career.
Around that time, you read this book.
Yeah.
What was so inspiring or perspective shifting about that book, Hatching Twitter?
It wasn't around that time. So I went to MIT as a fellow. Mm-hmm. I worked out of the MIT Media Lab. And my lab group was called the Social Computing Group. Mm-hmm. And it was, 8 or 10 technologists, 1 artist who was a painter, and then me. And and to this day, I don't know what I was doing there. I'm incredibly close to the professor. I talk to him all the time. He's since left there, and he is a mentor of mine, someone I speak to regularly. I still don't know what I was doing there. So mostly I just observed. Like I was given no assignment. I just observed. And I didn't have any friends. I was living in Boston. My pregnant wife was alone in New York City hating me because I abandoned her. And I read this book. And all I knew is that when I was there, I wanted to figure out what to do next. And the magic of Hatching Twitter, by the way, Nick Bilton has since become a good friend, but the magic of this amazing book is it reveals the madness that was a technology startup, like the chaos. Like, these guys are all very smart, all the guys that started Twitter. But like, I don't think they're smarter than me. Like, I think that there's you have regular people and smart people and then these geniuses that you just can't relate to. And I think that I live somewhere between regular and close to smart, but not fully smart. And I think these guys were they're just smart, persistent people that wanted to do something. I was like, I can do what they did. I can do that. And when I left MIT, I was like, I'm going to start a technology company. And I didn't know what that meant, but it just sounded like a great idea. But the whole time I was at MIT, I wasn't making any money. So I was living off my credit cards and off my debt. My business had a revolving line of credit at Chase Bank that was maxed out. And then I started this company, which was basically just meeting with people, telling them I wanted to start a company. And so 6 months later, I was $200,000 in debt. I couldn't afford my half of rent that I owed to my wife, who was pregnant. And that's when I started a daily vlog and started a technology company. And it made sense. But the reason why I give that long preface about I had found all this success is it was I found all that success. I knew there was a snack down the hall if I didn't want to do the puzzle. And I was like, fuck that. Let me burn it to the ground. Let me go $200,000 in debt and do something that I have no idea. I've never written a line of code in my life. Let me start a technology company. Let me start a software development company. I've still never written a line of code in my life, but let me do that. That's a good pursuit for me. And that's what I did.
If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favor. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.